What's good, YouTube? It's Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. If you want a t-shirt, you can message me on Facebook. I got different type of logos and images. You can get any color shirt, or you can change the logo on the shirt. Just message me on Facebook if you're interested. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a video. We're going to talk about another guy that's in turmoil, a guy that has been known as a bust, a guy that has been known as one of the most overpaid players in the NBA. He's a guy that people don't understand why he is still in the NBA, because he hasn't played that much, and when he does play, he hasn't contributed because he either gets back injured or he doesn't play that many minutes. He was a guy that people was excited for when he made a name for himself in Houston, especially playing with James Harden and Jeremy Lin and Armand Ashik. He was a guy that they needed to do more. They needed him to be that second or third option with a team that was mediocre at best. He was able to handle the ball, knock down the spot up three, get to the paint, get out in transition. He did the little things that you need a guy to do and that you want to be done for a guy that's not a max salary guy. So he did the little things like playmaking, picking and roll, knocking down spot up threes and small things like that. And obviously, Dallas and Memphis seen that. He's a versatile forward that can play multiple positions, and now he can switch. If he was healthy, he probably would be able to do that too, but he never was known as a lockdown or a great defender. He was a respectable defender, but he was never known as a lockdown elite defender, and that would be something that if he wanted to get even more money, even though he can't really complain because he made so much money these last couple of years really doing nothing. But if he wanted to be a elite player, he could be in the 3 and D guy, and that would have made his money be even more than what he's getting now, which is already outrageous. But he was a guy with a lot of potential because he's still 29 years old. He won't be 30 until the season start, around the season start. So he had a lot of chance to get his money in, and he was able to accumulate a lot of cash through Memphis and Dallas. And this was supposed to be that big free agent signing for Memphis. They're not a team that usually get big free agents. They're not a team that has people wanting to come to Memphis to play basketball. So once they signed Chandler Parsons, they thought he'd be that missing piece. He'll be that guy that, completes the offense, makes Mike Conley's job a little easier because he can handle the ball and knock down the three when Mike Conley and Marcus Gasol in pick and roll, or even if Marcus Gasol is in the paint, he can always kick it out to Chandler Parsons because he can create his own shot or knock down that spot up three. So he had that other element and that other ball handler that fits alongside guys like Mike Conley and Marcus Gasol. And I understood why they did that, because he does fit what they wanted to do, and he adds offense and versatility to that team that doesn't really have that. And they, like I said, they can't really get big name free agents or other superstars. So the closest thing you can get is a guy that's a hybrid and that can play multiple positions and do multiple things on the court. So understanding that perspective, I don't really blame them for giving him the money, because if you really look at it, the last 3 years they have even came close to getting a big name free agent. And one of the reasons is because they overpaid Mike Conley and they gave Marcus Gasol $100 million. And obviously, Chandler Parsons getting $24-25 million a season really didn't help either. But they did lose a lot of games, and they helped them get Jaren Jackson Jr., a guy that can play multiple positions, whether it's the power forward or the center, and do a lot of good things on the court, whether it's passing, knocking down the spot up three, or doing dribble handoffs and setting screens and rolling to the basket. So he does, losing this year did help them get a quality player, and he's only 18 years old, which means he has a huge load of potential, and he has a ceiling that we don't even know what it will be as he continues to grow and learn the game of basketball and matures. But Chandler Parsons is one of the biggest free agent signings for this Memphis Grizzlies team. He's one of the biggest busts in free agency. And the saddest part about this contract is that he got 2 more years, this up-and-coming season and next season, where he would make $24 and $25 million. And the sad part about it, too, is that Memphis gave him that money, and he played 2 seasons where he played 34 games in 16-17 and 36 games in 17-18. And 16, 17, he was basically washed up and he looked terrible. And 17, 18 last year, he put up some solid numbers, but he wasn't getting consistent touches and he wasn't getting consistent minutes. So we don't really know how he's going to really be when he's fully healthy, because at the end of the day, we can't go based off just the numbers. You got to put it in context. We got to be watching the games, and we got to see how he's getting his points. Now, obviously, he had major injuries, and sometimes that's mostly out of control. So I can't really blame him for getting injured when he's just going out there trying to play basketball and contribute. Um, Injuries are the ugly part of the game. Nobody wants to see a guy get injured. Nobody wants to see somebody hurt. But at the same time, he never really recovered. And even when he came back, like I said, in 16, 17, he just wasn't the same. And the saddest part about that is he's a guy that's not that athletic already and not as mobile already, and have significant knee surgery like he did the last couple of seasons only hurt his athleticism, his mobility, and his lateral quickness, which helps with defense and keeping in front of your guy. And he plays a position where you need speed and athleticism because you're going against the LeBrons, you're going against the Quads, you're going against the KDs, especially in the West. They're loaded with shooting guards and forwards, and now they have everybody doing the switching thing. So if Chandler Parsons is on the court, everybody wants to switch on the Chandler Parsons to just destroy him offensively. And having that knee surgery really wouldn't help that, because it's only going to make him worse athletically and laterally. So now he's going to be one of those targets where if he's ever on the court, teams going to go at him, teams going to attack him, and teams going to force him to play defense. And honestly, he's just not at that level where he can continually be a force defensively. So it is kind of sad to see this career. He was a cool dude. He was a guy that you wanted to be on your team. He was a great team player. He was a good motivator. He was a guy that accepted his role and mastered it to the point where he was able to make a living for the rest of his life off that contract, off these last two contracts. So, the thing is, it will for Chandler Parsons be in the league after his contract is over. And I remember somebody said in the comment section, well, they only going to go as far as Parsons. Parsons is that good of a guy where he's going to do the little things, like I said before, and that's going to help his team win. And the teams that need Parsons are teams that needed that position filled and something from it. And Parsons' injuries has stopped them from getting it. So Memphis ended up shooting themselves in the foot going after Chandler Parsons because he wasn't able to play any real minutes because of the injury. And now they stuck for the last 2 years paying the guy $24-25 million. That's basically untradeable unless you add something that people will consider, which is a top 10 pick. Now, they could have got rid of Chandler Parsons last year because of their record, but they would have to put their top 5 pick on the line just to get rid of that terrible contract, or they're just going to have to eat the contract by just letting him stay on the roster and trying to trade him when his deal is expiring, or just keep his expiring contract so you can go after another free agent with that money. At the end of the day, I think that's what they're going to end up doing. You know, they want the salary cap so they can have a chance to add another piece to this Memphis roster. They have been on record saying that they don't want to go through a rebuild. They want to stay competitive. Even if it's not winning a championship, they want to at least make the playoffs. And we all know that the West has got tougher, got harder this last 2 years. More talent has went to the West. More all-stars have went to the West. So that makes it even tougher for a team like this Memphis team that haven't really made any major improvements roster-wise, besides adding back Mike Conley. And will that be enough for them to make it to the playoffs? Will that be enough to, help them get out of the first round? I don't think anybody at this point has Memphis making it to the playoffs, honestly and truthfully. And you have to respect them for what they've been able to accomplish, and they've been consistently making the playoffs when healthy. But the NBA Western Conference is getting so tough that this, to me, is a team that potentially might barely miss the playoffs or barely make it. I don't know yet, but I don't think they're going to win enough games with this roster as currently constructed. And they have one of the longer rosters right now because they didn't resign or commit money to other players that's technically on the roster, but they won't really be on the roster when the season starts. But I do like that they added a lot more young talent, added a little bit more versatility. They're trying to modernize their offense, and they have some slashers, they have some shooters, they have a lot of bigs now, And I definitely think that that helps them in the future when it comes to, trying to be a better offensive team while still trying to find players that can play multiple positions and be two-way players. And, once they got this Chandler Parsons contract, maybe they can get that guy through free agency, which I doubt. But if they do, they have the salary cap to do it, or they're going to have to blow this thing up eventually and start back from the bottom and try to get that number one, number two, or number three pick and get a franchise guy that they can build around, and then they'll have young players to put around them. And also, if they continue to lose, they will, have the ability to get another top 10 pick like they did this season. But as long as Marcus Hall and Mike Conley healthy, they committed to Memphis. They committed to winning with Memphis. They've been here for so long. This is all they know. This is all they embody. And they the one that gave them that grit and grind style. And they the one that's getting this new modern offense. They've been there through both transitions. And I think they're going to want to finish their career in Memphis. And Memphis don't have a problem with that because they're still trying to be competitive. And they're going to be at their best if they have Marcus Hall and Mike Conley. But Chandler Parsons was supposed to be that glue guy. He was supposed to be that guy that, helps them get back out of the first round, and it ended up being a bust. And seeing how he plays, people want to ask me the question, do you think he's going to be out of the league? Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of teams still after this contract is up that's going to still want Chandler Parsons, whether it's as a seventh man, as an eighth man, or even at the end of the roster as a ninth or a 10th guy. Chandler Parsons is a quality NBA player still at this point, and even last year he was able to shoot 42% from three, and he was still able to get some solid buckets, not consistently, but he's still shown that he can make plays, handle the ball, and knock down that spot up three, and get out in transition and get the layups and dunks, or make that pass to the teammate that can get the layup or the dunk. So his little skill sets and his little things, I think, gonna keep him in the league for a couple more years. Now, is he gonna get the money that he's been getting? No, because he is 30, and they see his injuries. And if he don't have a fantastic season this year with Memphis, he's only gonna shoot himself in the foot even more and lose even more money. Now, if he has a breakout season and showing that he returned to form and he still can play, it's going to be a little hoodwink. You're going to say, oh, Chandler Parsons can play. He's healthy now. Let's give him the contract. And that's when, it's kind of scary because he'd be 31, 32 years old with that one person thinking that he can change their franchise or be that missing piece. And that's how Dallas messed up, and that's how Memphis messed up. And he still might be able to give you 12 to 15 points and shoot 35 to 36 to 30 to 35, 36 or higher from three. And then you can get reeled into wanting to give them that money. But I think teams have learned, the last two teams have learned, Chandler Parsons is not worth $20 million. And we'll see if other teams want to try it or other teams don't want to do it either. And then he just become a 8 to 10 million player at the max, or even just a one and done player where you just sign him for that year and let him go. Kind of like Rajon Rondo. He's going to teams, still playing well, but he hasn't committed to any teams because he's been a journeyman in his second half of his career. And I can definitely see Chandler Parsons being a journeyman throughout the next couple years without Memphis as a guy that you just pick up, in free agency to fit your certain style or come off the bench, or having them in that starting lineup to do that 3 or 4 knocking down threes and stuff. So I don't think his career is over. I don't think this is the end. But even if it is, I think the money, players and teams are not going to want to commit that much money to Chandler Parsons, especially as he in the downside of his career. He's going out of his prime, and he has had significantly bad season these last couple of years. And, teams have wasted a lot of money on him. So I definitely see him getting $5 million at the max or minimum. But usually I won't see him getting $2 million or $3 million just to be that 7th, 8th guy on the roster. And if he's lucky, he might get a little bit, 10 to 12 million to be that 4th or 5th option that Memphis and Dallas wanted to be, but they're not going to pay him the 24 to 25 million to be it, which is beneficial to them and it's safe for them. And he gets that long-term commitment that keeps him in the league. So that's, definitely what his agent and he's going to want is that job security and staying in the NBA. So that may be the best middle ground, but most likely he's going to be doing a lot of one-year deals, bouncing from roster to roster if he wants to stay in the NBA after his contract with the Memphis is either traded or even, expires. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Chandler Parsons' career is over? Do you think he still has potential to make another roster? Do you think he still got a lot left in the tank? Or do you think that, hey, at the end of the day, Chandler Parsons is done? No team is going to want to have him for the rest of his career. And at the end of the day, you know, teams see what he has done and see what he hasn't done, and they move on. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the comment section below. If you want a t-shirt like you seen in the intro, message me on Facebook. I can get you one sent out. You can get any color t-shirt, any color logo that you want it to be. Just message me on Facebook and I can get it sent out. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, I'm gone. And let me know if you think Chandler Parsons has a little bit left in the tank or his career is over. At the end of the day, leave it in the comment section below.